What brought me to ReloShare was actually a project that I ran when I was the second customer of ReloShare. So when I was at the San Francisco District Attorney's Office, I had an opportunity to look for housing options for survivors of crime in the immediate aftermath of COVID. And so from that point on, I had an ongoing relationship with John and Matt. And when I was relocating out of San Francisco, they invited me to come and figure out a longer term solution because they had been approached by communities from across the country who similarly had lack of housing options for survivors. So I joined ReloShare really to see if there was something that we could do and leverage the resources that ReloShare had and the relationships to build a service for social service agencies across the country.
I spent about 8 years working in victim services. So I did sexual assault hospital advocacy for 3 years and then moved on to my state coalition. I was really interested to branch out and see what that would look like if technology and social service experts came together. And what I found is that Safe Stays is the baby of that brainchild, and it's really working to meet the need of agencies that don't have space for their clients that they're serving, really working to help agencies not have to turn people away.
Coming from direct service work, I have had in the past issues with finding hotels that are willing to accept my survivors without an ID and without a credit card. And so I feel like the biggest achievement is really that it even exists and that there are agencies across the United States that are able to use it.
I think just the fact that we were able to develop a product that's actually usable for the agencies that we dreamed it up for, and that it's something that people have found useful, which we had hoped when we were developing would be something. But when you're creating something, you're creating it not knowing what the reception is going to be. So I think the reception that we've gotten for Safe Stays specifically and how quickly it has been implemented in communities across the country is the thing that I'm most proud of and the thing that I'm most surprised at as well.
When I was going into tech world, I was a little worried that I wasn't going to have those relationship experiences with agencies that are doing the work. And what I found is that I still maintain my foot in that door, so it's the best of both worlds, and I'm just so excited every time an agency tells us how much they love what we're doing.
Well, the fact that everybody I've worked with, everybody that we've brought into the team has this cohesive, fluid chemistry, I think is phenomenal. It's one of my favorite things, and it's definitely one of those pleasant surprises that I didn't really anticipate, because usually when you're working with somebody, you anticipate that there's going to be different personalities, you might not get along, but the fact that everybody's just pretty much across the board just gets along and we all have a common goal in mind is phenomenal.
I worked in both governmental and non-governmental organizations, predominantly providing direct services to survivors. And while there was a lot of program development in that work, you're really restrained by the funding, by the bureaucracy of whatever organization you're working within. And I think for me, the biggest shift in working at ReloShare is that it's really starting with a blank slate. You have access to tools and levers that you don't get access to when you're working inside of a government agency or inside of a nonprofit system.
I have 17 plus years in the hospitality industry, and I've helped people across the board, get rooms, ensure packages arrive on time, make sure that they are as comfortable in their unit as possible. The added benefit to this that I've never experienced before is actually helping somebody in need. Somebody who needs our service. It's not necessarily a want or something that's materialistic, it's something they need. And the fact that we're able to provide that, we're able to provide that safe haven for them, it drives me every day.
Another more surprising thing that we found is that while we designed the products specifically Safe Stays for domestic violence and human trafficking agencies, there have been so many other types of agencies that have found that it fills the need and it fixes a problem that they had. Healthcare agencies would benefit from the service. We didn't understand that asylum and refugee serving agencies would benefit from the service. And I think that the more folks find out about it, the more ways we can pivot and make it a tool that is applicable to a wide array of agencies.
The amount of people that we're going to service as it expands and as we currently expand is such a great feeling. So that's the thing I'm most looking forward to, is not necessarily, the dollars and cents, but more or less the people that we service and those victims, those clients across the board. We're helping more and more every day.